What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We're once again using Ikari's team that made it all the way to 15th place in the Global Challenge from Winter 2021. So we're just kind of hopping straight into our first game. So looking at my opponent's team, it is Grimmsnarl, Porygon 2, Metagross, Tapu Fini, Incineroar, and Zapdos. So, I do really like that Tapu Lele Dragapult lead that we went off with pretty much all of yesterday. It can handle just a lot of what my opponent has to deal with. They can't really outspeed it, and we can get some big damage right off the bat. I think Torkoal is probably worth bringing as well, just in the event that we do get in a Trick Room sort of situation. And then, what is on this Porygon? I'm going to bring Porygon as well. I think it's a little questionable, but I think overall it is kind of the good decision. I do wish I had recorded the last game. I was playing a warm-up before this, and I ended up maxing Torkoal, which I thought was really cool because you don't really see that too often. So, oh well. Hoping that regardless we can get some interesting games in today. So, let's see. My opponent's going to lead with Grimmsnarl and Incineroar. So this is a pretty passive lead from my opponent, but I think it's one that makes sense. The question being, I guess, like, what does my opponent really want to do? We do have Dragapult with Clear Body, so that's pretty nice. I think I could just protect Pheromosa. I'm tempted to protect Pheromosa and then go for a Phantasm. Phantasm's not very effective. I still think Phantasm's fine, because what we can do is we can... I have what? Porygon and Torkoal in the back? Yeah, I think we're going to play a little bit aggressive. I think the plan with doing this is we can get 2 Phantasms off before Pheromosa attacks, and we can have that kind of lower defense to make up for the fact that they will probably be able to set up a Reflect, and we've been intimidated. So using those minus defenses, we can hopefully have Pheromosa pick up some big KOs to start beast boosting back to hopefully neutral and above, because I think we can easily deal with that Incineroar once we get up to -2 defense and using the close combat into it. So, yep, they're going to fake out. I expect a Reflect. Oh, no Reflect. So they're probably going to be going for, what's it called? Spirit Break into the Dragapult slot, because they didn't go for a screen. So, yep, they're going to Spirit Break. Oh, and they double Pheromosa, which, I think still close combat the Incineroar slot and go for a Phantasm onto Grimmsnarl. Unfortunately, the Reflect will make it so we don't get the knockout. We do see the switch into Metagross. So Metagross is going to take a pretty big close combat. I do expect, yep, there's the Reflect. But what's nice is they're not going to be able to attack, so we are going to be able to get a really big close combat into their Metagross before it can really do anything. And Grimmsnarl is also almost knocked out at this point, so we could honestly double up into it next turn. And I can't really see their Grimmsnarl doing much. That damage was a little bit low, in all honesty, but we do get... oh no, they don't get a defense drop because it's Metagross. I could swap into... I think doubling up into Metagross should still pick up the knockout, just given how much damage we can do. And what's nice is they don't have a way of picking up both knockouts, right? Because they have to, because of the fact that Pheromosa has a Focus Sash, they can't guaranteed pick up both, especially now that they've maxed. So what that means is we can hopefully get whatever lives to finish off Metagross in the event we don't knock it out this turn. So we are going to have that Phantasm connect. It should do a really, not a really sizable chunk, but it does enough that if we have, what's it called? Dragapult live, we should be able to finish them off. So we are going to take some. We do connect with the close combat. Yeah, and at this point, I think even the second close combat's going to be close. They're going to Steel Spike into it looks like Pheromosa. Yeah. So I think that was I don't want to say it was a mistake, but it does let us have Dragapult for the subsequent turn. And I think what we can do is we can just go for Max Phantasm into... Yeah, we can pretty say... I mean, not Max Phantasm. We can go for a Phantom Force. And what I'm thinking is... I don't like that Triple Axle doesn't have 100% accuracy. Let's Triple Axle into Grimmsnarl and Phantom Force into Metagross. Just to try and... Yeah, okay, so that's great, actually, because we're not targeting into it. Dragapult's going to disappear and get the hit next turn. And as long as this Triple Axle connects, we are going to be able to take out Grimmsnarl. And yep, we do see it connect. Wait, I thought... So apparently I don't know how Triple Axle works. I thought it always hits 3 times. That's a little bit weird. Does it really not? Triple Axle, that become... Yeah, why did it only hit once? I don't... Can it just miss each time? That's weird. I'm going to bring up Porygon, I guess, because of the fact that Porygon 2 is just such a strong hitter in general. I think being able to just set up damage is what's key here. So we can go for a Tri-Attack into Grimmsnarl. It is a little bit tricky that they are going to be able to most likely get off a Spirit Break, but... Oh, and so they fail the Max Guard, which I don't think matters with Phantom Force. And wow, they also live, which is a really big deal. They are going to Spirit Break into Dragapult, and Dragapult unfortunately goes down. So this is actually a really tricky spot, especially given the fact that we procced the policy on Metagross. Because what I'm thinking is if we can get up a Trick Room, that's, I think, our best bet. We know that they have Incineroar in the back. Oh, they have Incineroar in the back. That's actually really scary, especially if they bring it in now, which they do. So I'm going to expect a what's it called? A Fake Out into Porygon, and probably Metagross just knocking out Torkoal. I think that makes the most sense. So I'm still going to try and Trick Room, and then I'm going to go for a Protect with Torkoal, expecting Metagross to hit into me. And then if that's the case, I might just Ally Switch and try and do some shenanigans that way. We are going to see a Fake Out, yep, correctly into Porygon 2, and yep, we're going to see the Stomping Tantrum into Torkoal. And I think as a result, yeah, we want to go for the Ally Switch here, and then go for probably an Eruption. And if we have Porygon live, which I actually expect it to, this is relaxed with max defense and max HP. They're going to Parting Shot into Torkoal, which is a little bit scary, because that does mean we are going to have our special attack dropped, but we should be at full HP for this Eruption, and I think it should be able to do a pretty sizable chunk nonetheless. And so they have their own Porygon 2 as well. They are going to download and get, unfortunately, a special attack boost. We are going to see a Stomping Tantrum into the Porygon 2 slot, which is going to do next to nothing, and we get off a really huge Eruption onto at least the Metagross. It does not much on a Porygon, and I think honestly at this point it's going to be a pretty big a pretty big stall fest. Yeah, because they can, I think, what, double up into the Incineroar, Earth Power, and, or actually, do they still screens up? They have 3 turns of Light Screen. I think Protect, and then try and go for a Trick Room. This, I think, yeah, I think this is going to get really, really kind of grindy at this point. We do get the Protect off, Fake Out. So, okay, they do target into the Torkoal. They are also going to try attack. So they doubled up into the Torkoal, which is really good for me because it lets me safely get up a Trick Room, which means that Torkoal at this point is the fastest thing on the field. We can go for an Earth Power into their Incineroar and go for a Tri Attack onto their Incineroar. Yeah. Because I think this is probably our best bet. Oh wow. That is that is the result of a Light Screen and a Parting Shot. But we do drop their special defense, so that Tri Attack did a decent amount. They are going to be able to recover with a berry, but I think one more, actually now I was going to say one more cycle of that should finish them off. Torkoal goes from 177 down to a lot less than that. Torkoal, yeah. Torkoal just taking such a beating, but I think we can safely protect this turn and once again go for a Tri Attack onto Incineroar. And basically what I'm trying to do is get it to a point where we are 2v1ing them, and then that hopefully will help make this grindy endgame less grindy. So we do get a paralysis onto their Incineroar, which I think is big. They're going to Parting Shot correctly into my Porygon, but at this point we can finish off their Incineroar by doubling up onto it. It is a little bit tricky though that the Harsh Sunlight has faded, but I think, oh, they also don't have Light Screen, so we can do this and we can also Tri Attack here. And basically what I'm hoping is if this knocks out the Incineroar, it doesn't knock out, we're going to be able to, oh wow, they're getting, this is a weird speed tier. I don't know how their Incineroar is trained that is moving before my Porygon in Trick Room, because this is 0 speed and relaxed, but I mean, maybe they are brave completely min as well. This should unfortunately take out my Torkoal. So now it's just like a game of luck, really, of who gets crits. Basically, who's gonna freeze whom. Luckily, we are faster, quote unquote faster, under Trick Room, so we can hopefully get the freeze first. We're going to do hardly nothing, and we get paralysis, which arguably is the worst condition to get. 125 down to 70. Okay. This is this is a thing. Do we play? I guess we play for time. I'm gonna try and recover up. They're gonna do 73 to 60. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would need them to be paralyzed this next turn for it to work out, and they're not. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think Metagross living the Phantom Force was a really big deal. I think Lele probably was a better choice overall. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is a standard Grimmsnarl. Their Porygon was pretty mixed spread. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think they would have outstalled me. This Metagross was just so bulky, and the fact that it lived the Phantom Force really kind of cost me. Feeny, Ensign. Yeah, wait, what is this Ensign? This Ensign has speed. I'm confused on why it was going when it did. But maybe I just don't understand this game as well as I thought. But okay, that's a little disheartening, but things are fine. Then yeah, let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to game number 2. All right, game number 2. It is a Landorus with Regieleki. We have Torkoal Vinu with Porygon 2 and Urshifu. This is a little bit tricky because of the fact that I can't really do much against Venusaur. What? Because how do I stop? How do I stop Torkoal Vinu? I could do Porygon. No, I can't even do Porygon Glastrier because Torkoal will outspeed me in Trick Room. I could do Glastrier. I can't even do Glastrier Dragapult. I could do Glastrier Dragapult. I could do Pheromosa. I'm gonna do Glastrier Lele. I think that's a questionable decision, but I don't really know. I like Dragapult, and then Porygon. I get Porygon, Pheromosa. I guess Torkoal. Even Torkoal's questionable. I'm gonna go with Porygon. I don't really feel great about this matchup for sure. I think, I don't really have a good answer to Torkoal Vinu that I can see other than hope that they miss the sleep powder. And yeah, we're gonna see Vinu or Shifu. We do luckily get the Psychic Terrain up, so they can't go for a priority move. But even then, like, it's not that big a deal. I could Hailstorm. So what I'm thinking is, if you target into Lele, I can... Yeah. So what I'm expecting is... Oh, that was actually... Okay, so they're not switching. And what I have to hope is they targeted into Lele. Because this is an incredibly risky play. Because if they put my Glastrier to sleep, I'm basically out of this game. We're going to see a Protect with Venusaur. Okay, good position so far. We are going to eat a Wicked Blow. Oh, I think Wicked Blow KOs Tapu. Oh, Tapu Lele lives. Yeah, it has to be banded for it to KO. And this Moonblast. So you're going to be... We know that you are... Yep, we see the sash there. So we are going to be able to go for a Hailstorm into this Venusaur and knock out the Urshifu and get a pretty good amount of chip onto it. Unfortunately, though, they do get a free switch into Torkoal. And then the question is, how much damage am I going to take from Venusaur? We do know that this is an Assault Vest Glastrier. So I feel like I should be able to live at least one hit from it. Oh, interesting to bring out Porygon 2 over Torkoal. But, that's actually not, because what they could be doing, that actually makes sense, because now what you're trying to do is you're trying to set up Trick Room for Torkoal endgame, and I do have Porygon as well, so that's fine. I think do I want to Quake? I think I have to Quake. I'm going to Hailstorm and Moonblast into Porygon 2. Because, yeah, that's definitely what my opponent is doing. They're trying to set up. Wow, that did a good amount of damage. And they sleep my Glastrier. That's bad. Okay, so we do have Trick Room up, which means that they can bring out their Torkoal, but we can hopefully knock out... We can't even knock out their Porygon 2. It can so easily recover. Our Lele is gone. We can bring out Porygon. So what's nice is we do have a way to reverse the Trick Room. But yeah, things are just really tricky. Please get a special attack boost. We do get a special attack raise. I think I have to, Quake into their Porygon 2. And then while I don't want to give them a free switch into Torkoal, but I also don't want them to just put things to sleep. So I think I have to try and knock out this Venusaur. Or we get a one-turn wake. Okay, this is a really big deal. We are going to be able to get a special defense boost into this Porygon 2. I don't think they expected me to wake up so soon. So now, let's see, we do connect with this Tri-Attack. So this is actually a really big deal. We pick up the knockout on Venusaur. Like I said, this is a little bit tricky though because of the fact that their Torkoal can go for an eruption and I can't really do anything about it. I can try and reverse the Trick Room. I think that's probably my best bet, and then just try and Quake into it because there's no way they don't have Torkoal in the back. Right? Yeah, there's Torkoal. So we are at +1. We are at +1, and it is, what is it called? Assault Vest. So the question is that enough? I think we still have to high horsepower into you and go for a Trick Room. Right? Yeah, because we want to reverse it. That's our only chance of winning. That was a very good ally switch, and that makes things a lot trickier. We live with both, which is a huge deal. Because now we can hopefully knock out this Porygon 2. We don't knock out the Porygon 2, but we are going to be able to recover a ton of damage and set up a position where I think we just go at what's in front of us. Because they have to make a choice of, do you ally switch or do you Trick Room? And so it looks like they're going to try and Trick Room. We are going to do a hefty bit, and unfortunately we don't go for it, pick up the knockout, but we do get Torkoal below half, which is a little bit unfortunate because that means they are going to connect with this Heat Wave, and this should be if this is a Trick Room on their Porygon, yeah, that's going to be game as well. Because now all I have in the back is Dragapult. I think if I had... actually, not necessarily. Dragapult, what can Torkoal really do to me? That's the question. Because, I don't take too much from... I shouldn't take too much from a Heat Wave. So the question is, what other attacks do you have? If you have Yawn, what can happen is you recover with the Porygon 2, and you have to try and damage me with Torkoal, right? Or you could double up. No, you can't even double up because we saw Ally Switch, Tri-Attack, Trick Room, and recover. So we know the Porygon cannot actually damage Dragapult. So all we actually have to do is live a hit from this Torkoal, and then we could theoretically just play to time if we can get the burn off. And then, they're going to Heat Wave, yep. Heat Wave's going to do 81, and yep, we are going to see the recover on the Porygon, and now, now what do? We know that let's see how much Dragon Darts does. We're going to, that Yeah, that's also game. I mean, actually, no. Let's see. They have if they miss, they could miss the heat wave, but I think honestly at this point you just max, and then that way you don't risk it because you're too low for an eruption. I'm guessing you don't have earth power, otherwise you would have gone for it. So, yeah, right. You just easily can max the Torkoal at this point. Go for a flare into me because if you miss the what's it called, the heat wave, then I pick up a knockout onto your Torkoal, and yeah, you don't even miss, so it's not a big deal. Because I was gonna say you miss that, then I can burn the Porygon and then just keep going for Phantom Forces until time. But another, definitely another unfortunate battle for sure. I think, yeah, I think there are better ways that I could have played it. I think the fact that they were able to get Trick Room up so easily didn't help my case. And I think having, if I'd had my own Torkoal over Porygon, which I talked about, that would have really made a big difference. But I mean, I don't know. This has just been a rough episode, but sometimes that happens and you just gotta keep on pushing on and move to the next one. All right, battle number 3, and this is what? It is Grimmsnarl with Celesteela, Rotom Heat. You have Elandorus, Kartana, and Porygon. I think if I can set up Trick Room, Torkoal's in a really good position against a lot of this, and then yeah, I mean Pheromosa's tough for sure, but I mean not Pheromosa, Celesteela. What to do in the beginning? I do like Lele. I could do Lele Porygon. The fear though is if they lead Kartana. Yeah, I don't have a good answer to Kartana. I still think this is the best lead because I might just have to sacrifice Kartana. We bring Torkoal and then Glastrier. Yeah, let's try and go pretty aggressive Trick Room. And what I'm hoping is if my opponent has a passive lead, we can really steamroll that way. Because I think if we can get Torkoal, if we get Torkoal next to Glastrier, I actually feel really good because we'll have the spread eruption, and then Glastrier kind of can finish off anything from there. So we're gonna see a Porygon 2 and Celesteela lead from my opponent, which arguably is the worst lead I could have expected. So now is also the mind game of, do I think my opponent is going to try and reverse a Trick Room? Because that's the thing. Do I think they're going to try and Trick Room as well? I think they are. I think that's the only reason you would lead something like this, is the idea that you're trying to... So I'm going to just... Yeah, I'm going to try and sacrifice Feeny. I mean, not Feeny, Lele. And hope that they... I hope that they Steel Spike into Lele and they set up the Trick Room for me. Because then what I can do is I can bring out Torkoal safely and have it just go for a max flare into Celesteela to finish it off. But we are setting ourselves up in a little bit of a tricky spot. So we are going to see the Psychic. Hopefully we can get a drop, which would be great. We do get a ton of damage. We do see the Steel Spike coming out onto Lele. That'll pick up the KO. And then the question is, do they also go for... do they set up the Trick Room? We are going to see... They do get the Beast Boost, yeah. So let's see if mine goes first. We are min speed, which most Porygons are not. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, they don't set up Trick Room, which is smart. I think we still bring out Torkoal. We have to max. I think we have to max Torkoal at this point. because we can't afford for them to hit into us, so we can just go for a flare here. Or we could... Because now what if they reverse the Trick Room? I have to go for it. And this is also a really risky play. Because, I mean, what? They can go for a steel, not a steel spike, a rock fall if they're power herb. And then I think that should do a sizable chunk into Torkoal. I could have ally switched. Honestly, that might have been the right play just to ensure that I got the flare off, but I needed... Wow. That did so much damage as a result of the crit. And yeah, they are unfortunately going to be the power herb variant, which is going to knock out my Torkoal. And I think at this, I should have just max guarded. I should have gone for a max guard and then tried to go for it the subsequent turn. But I think I was so afraid of them reversing the Trick Room, which, I mean, there's no reason to indicate that they're going to do. And yeah, I mean, their Life Orb too, and the fact that they still have the rock move kind of sealed it. So definitely not the best day. And I think that just happens because, yeah, we bring out Glastrier at this point and they can just easily go for a Steel Spike to finish things off. And the fact that they're at +2 really just kind of solidifies the deal. So yeah, a little bit of a drag for sure. It's never fun to go 0-3, especially when it was just like if I had made that prediction right on turn 1, I think it could have really made the game different because of the fact that I would have just been able to Eruption with Torkoal and set up with Glastrier, honestly, to kind of work together to clean things up. But they correctly recovered, expecting me... I guess like they reverse my own mind game, and sometimes in best of one, you do have to make these like hard reads with no knowledge, and so this was one of the times that it cost me. So we do see, yep, pretty cool set with Grimmsnarl. Fake Out's kind of lost a lot of popularity, and I'm guessing yeah, the main thing on this team is just maxing Celesteela, and even though it has Life Orb, it still has the Meteor Beam, because I'm guessing, yeah, this is just your max option. Rotom Heat, pretty standard set with, yep, Nasty Plot Overheat. You do have, Choice Scarf Landorus, I think, is always a really cool sort of option that most people don't expect, especially because it hits a pretty high speed tier. And then Focus Sash on Kartana. And we have Trick Room, Tri-Attack. Yeah, I think if we had gone for Trick Room turn 1, it would have been such a better position because Lele would have gone down. We would have had a free switch into Torkoal, and then Torkoal with Porygon 2 would have been able to put on a ton of pressure because I wouldn't have had to worry about Celesteela, and then we could have just doubled up into the Porygon slot to guarantee they couldn't reverse the Trick Room, and then I think from there it would have been enough damage to finish things. But I mean, that happens. It's, like I said, it is unfortunate, but that's just the way the game works. And yeah, we'll play some more with this tomorrow to finish off the season, and hopefully we can finish strong. But until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.